Wow, that's a devastating collision. We're counting down the 20 most insane crashes in Formula One history, and kicking things off is Romain Grosjean's terrifying career-ending wreck. Just after the start, Grosjean had already made up a couple of positions coming out of Turn 1, pushing hard through the pack. But then, chaos. Is that Grosjean? Red flag, total mayhem. His car burst into flames, split in two, and somehow, he walked away. It was nothing short of miraculous. The man literally came out of fire. Coming in at number 19, Robert Kubica was just as fortunate, maybe even more so. His car was utterly destroyed in a horrifying smash, yet he climbed out without a scratch. It started with a brush against a Toyota. Then his car launched into the air, smashing headfirst into barriers. That was one of the wildest crashes I've ever seen at this circuit. Now you'd think it couldn't get worse. But then there was Mark Webber's airborne nightmare. After making contact with Heikki Kovalainen, his car literally took off like a rocket, flipping completely over. Webber's flying! Thankfully, he was able to toss out his steering wheel and walk away, but that was a close call. And unlike Webber, Felipe Masa never saw his crash coming. As he sped down the straight, a metal spring from another car came loose and struck him right in the helmet, knocking him unconscious instantly. "I honestly don't remember anything," he said later. "I think I was behind someone in Q2, and then nothing. It's all blank." At number 16, some accidents are so severe they leave you wondering if a driver will ever race again. That's what happened to Fernando Alonso in Australia, where he was sent into a violent roll that destroyed his car. But even that paled in comparison to Luciano Burti's crash in Belgium. Traveling over 270 kilometers per hour, he lost control and slammed into a barrier. Head-on, instantly losing consciousness from the impact. There's Bertie in the yellow helmet. They touch, and then chaos. That kind of impact is brutal. It's a stark reminder of how dangerous this sport really is. And speaking of danger, Rubens Barrichello faced it head-on at Imola. His car hit a curb, went airborne, and slammed into the fencing, nearly ending in tragedy. That's a massive shunt. At number 13, we've got Jenson Button's high-speed disaster in Monaco. He lost control inside the infamous tunnel, doing nearly 180 miles per hour at the world's most unforgiving racetrack. Wait, hold on. Did you know that 99% of you watching right now aren't subscribed? If you enjoy my content and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. It takes just a second, but it means the world to me and helps keep this channel going. Join the family and let's grow together. Now back to the story. Jenson Button came terrifyingly close to tragedy at the British Grand Prix. That's the brutal unpredictability of Formula One. One moment you're flying down the straight, the next you're literally airborne. Just ask Martin Brundle, who went flying in Australia on the very first lap. As the cars jostled for position into Turn 1, boom, Brundle's car launched into the air and split in two. That's one of the Jordans. That's exactly the kind of crash we feared. It was shocking, and it was only the start of the race. But if you thought that was wild, Derek Warwick's crash at Monza took things to another level. His car flipped at high speed, scraped violently down the track. And then what did he do? He jumped out, ran back to the pits, and hopped into his backup car like it was just another day at the office. The guy flipped and still made it to the restart. Unreal bravery and commitment. Still, no comeback in F1 history matches what Niki Lauda did. In 1976, after being pulled from his burning Ferrari with horrific injuries and life-threatening burns, most assumed his career was over. But just 6 weeks later, bandaged and scarred, he got back in the car, defying every expectation and every medical odd. While some crashes only end one driver's race, others plunge the entire grid into chaos. At number 9, we revisit one of the most unforgettable pileups ever, David Coulthard's infamous crash at the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. The lights go out, it's go time, and then disaster. Cars collided left and right, spinning into the barriers, a massive chain reaction that brought the race to a complete halt. This is the worst Grand Prix start I've ever seen in my life. And next, we arrive at one of the most controversial moments in championship history. It's 1994, Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill are battling for the title. Schumacher makes contact with the wall, but instead of retiring, he stays in the fight. As Hill tries to pass, Schumacher turns in and collides, taking them both out. Schumacher's off. Hill is out. That's it. Just like that, Schumacher becomes world champion in a storm of controversy. Jumping to the present day, the drama hasn't let up. In one of the most controversial moments in recent memory, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen clashed at Silverstone, sending Max flying into the barriers with a bone-rattling 51G impact. Here comes Hamilton again, this time down the inside. Contact. Verstappen's in the wall. The crowd was stunned. The title race had just exploded, literally. And just when you thought Silverstone couldn't get more terrifying, along came Zhou Guanyu's crash in 2022. His car flipped upside down, sliding hundreds of meters at high speed before launching over the tire wall and into the catch fencing. His car's upside down, into the gravel, and then airborne. That was one of the most chilling sights in modern Formula One. At number 5, we go back to Austria, where Nick Heidfeld lost control and slammed T-bone style into Takuma Sato. He got the jump. Oh wait, what is this? Straight into the side of Sato's Jordan. Massive hit. It was violent, but not nearly as frustrating as what Esteban Ocon did to Max Verstappen in Brazil. Max, leading the race, got spun out by a backmarker trying to unlap himself. That's Verstappen, the race leader, spun around by Ocon. Unbelievable. Coming up next, a crash that showcases just how far F1 safety tech has evolved. At Spa, Fernando Alonso's McLaren launched right over the top of Charles Leclerc's cockpit at the race start. Lights out and away we go. Contact already. Alonso's airborne, straight over Leclerc. Thanks to the halo device, Leclerc walked away unhurt. That scene could have ended very differently just a few years earlier. And speaking of Alonso, there's a theory he might have caused one of his own infamous crashes, slamming into Esteban Gutierrez coming out of the pits. He just came out, and bam! A massive side impact from Alonso. Intentional or not, it was a monumental shunt. But sitting at number 1, the most recent reminder of just how brutal F1 still is. Mick Schumacher's massive crash during qualifying. At full speed, he lost control and obliterated the barriers. Oh no, Mick. That's a huge one. The car is destroyed. And there you have it. The 20 most jaw-dropping crashes in Formula One history. Like and subscribe for more adrenaline-pumping F1 moments. You won't want to miss what's coming next.